Greetings, Wilsonville. Kevin O'Malley, Wilsonville Chamber of Commerce. It's Wednesday. It's noon. It must be live
at noon.
So
there we go.
Please come on in, sit down virtually. Very happy to introduce none other than our favorite friend in a new position, and that would be Kyle Bunch with Goosehead Insurance. You want to wave hi to everybody, Kyle?
Hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday. So normally when we have our live streams, we usually end up with what's new, but there's some exciting stuff happening. So we're going to start with what's new with Kyle Bunch and Goosehead Insurance.
Yeah, thank you. So at the beginning of this year, I started really thinking about what I wanted to do with my business, and had the great pleasure of being with an awesome carrier for the past 8 years, but just knew that there was a lot of opportunity out there. Realized that there wasn't really a strong presence of an independent agency in Wilsonville, something that was missing, and had a great opportunity to align with Goosehead, who's based out of Dallas, Texas, and they're one of the fastest growing agency networks in the country. So really excited to have joined them. Now doing the same exact thing, taking care of the same exact people that I was before, and just have a lot more opportunity. So we represent them about a little over 30 of the nation's top carriers in property and casualty insurance for both personal and small business needs. So doing the same exact thing, just a new name and a lot more product options.
So the upside is more opportunities to service your customers with a broader base of insurance product. And then from a customer service standpoint, Kyle's still there. You still got a team, backing you up. Is that correct? So service level doesn't change at all.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the hugest reasons why I chose Goosehead was I'm just one person, right? And I can do my best to take care of people, and I hope I do a good job of that. But I have a whole team behind me who has stellar customer service and customer loyalty ratings, higher than a lot of the customer service industry companies like Ritz-Carlton, Apple, who all pride themselves on that. So huge team behind me that's taking care of my clients when I can't be there to do that.
Very cool. Well, I looked at the website. Besides the fly above the rest goose that are flying, are they gooseheads? I don't know how many, a flock, whatever they are.
Geese, yes.
Okay, multiple are geese. The smarter, simpler way to purchase insurance pretty much says it all. So one of the other things, since if you're watching this a year from now, yes, right now, here we are in August of 2020, we are still dealing with COVID-19. And normally we ask how it affects the business. I think it's interesting because your business is taking care of lots of people. As it relates to insurance, how is COVID-19 impacting folks? For example, a lot more people working at home. Does that change their insurance needs at all?
Yeah, there are a couple of different ways that we want to take a look at during the pandemic. For me and my business, it doesn't change a lot because people still need insurance, right? But with people working at home on their auto insurance, that's one of the first things that we want to take a look at is if you're not driving to and from work, that's a lot less of an exposure. And so we want to rate that appropriately and make sure that the correct miles are being used. And usually that results in typically less rates or a lower rate. The other thing that I've really been pushing with people right now is usage-based insurance. Most carriers now have some sort of usage-based insurance program where it's a mobile app or sometimes a device in the car, but tracking you individually. How much are you driving? When are you driving? Are you driving in high peak times? Things like that. And that can drive even deeper discounts, sometimes up to 30% based on your driving habits and driving behavior. So,
Let me ask you a question, Kyle, on the auto. Can I ask you?
Auto, yeah.
It's interesting. I see that some companies are saying, hey, we'll send you a check for 10% or whatever because your usage is down. If you are rating somebody right now, you're rating them based on their current usage, right? So the reality is that it's nice that a company sends a check, but that I don't want to be skeptical, but my sense is that maybe it's 100% of what should become, or maybe it's not, because they're just trying to be good and give you some money back. So in most cases, getting a current accurate picture of how you're driving is always going to be the most cost-effective way to figure out what your coverage should be. Is that a fair statement?
Most definitely, because you may still get the credit or whatever it is that carrier is doing too, along with the rating. So for sure.
Okay. So you mentioned auto in COVID-19. Yeah. How about other types of insurance?
Yeah, homeowners insurance, you may just want to, if you're going to have a home office set up, make sure you just check with your agent, make sure you have coverage for incidental business or a small home office coverage, because even if you have your company's equipment at home, you may still be responsible for that if something happens to it in a fire or a water loss or things like that. So just make sure you have that coverage on. It's very inexpensive, but it's an important coverage to make sure you have added on to your homeowner's policy if you're working from home. Small business insurance, unfortunately, viruses are excluded in a lot of those. So our small business clients really didn't have much coverage as related to the virus and shutdown and things like that. Luckily, the government and Small Business Administration had a lot of programs to help with that. But unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of coverage for small businesses.
Sure. So one of the things I mentioned, seeing the commercial relative to getting a check back, any of us who are even streaming or whatever, there's commercials, and there is the gecko that is pretty funny, but it brings up the question for most of our businesses. As a Chamber of Commerce, we represent lots and lots of businesses here in town. We're here because of the jobs that businesses create in the community and what that does to help support the transit system, the parks, all the other things. So when it comes to online purchases, everybody buys through Amazon, but when it comes to insurance, I've never actually gone the online route, because I believe I want somebody that I'm talking to when the claim happens that can look at me and tell me what's happening. But to help us understand a little bit real quickly on online insurance as it relates to, so not having your local rep that's got jobs and is helping the Rotary like you do, or helping the football team or whatever else, what happens, why online versus, an actual true agent? Is it cheaper insurance? What's
a lot of people, there are always going to be those people who just want to deal direct, right? They want to be able to go online, do whatever, have it instant. But you really lose that piece of having an advocate for you when you have an issue, right? You're calling the 800 number every time you have a billing problem, you need something changed, you have a claim that you need help navigating, and you just don't get that. And the funny thing is, they're not always cheaper. That tends to be a misconception, and they are competitive. They're going to be, in there on the competitiveness scale. But people are always surprised, even if they're with an online carrier or a direct carrier, right, what kind of premiums they can get when they come into my office. So,
okay, and speaking of, most of us can say an insurance review is somewhere right, maybe just below going to the dentist. Probably not the most favorite thing in the world to do. And I love my dentist. Nothing against dentists, but please, it's not a favorite.
Unless you come to Goosehead. No, you haven't had an insurance review here yet.
So when it comes to an insurance review, just as we try to start wrapping things up here, what are the advantages? Is it painful? Is it painless? What happens with an insurance review?
It shouldn't be painless for the consumer. Sometimes it's painful for me, but depending on what's going on and what the current situation is. But no, obviously, looking to make sure that you're paying accurate premium. But I can't tell you how many times I look at someone's coverages and they don't even realize that they have state minimum insurance, which doesn't get you very far, especially today and the medical costs that we experience when we see bodily injury losses. So that for me is the hugest advantage. Even more than premium is, do you have appropriate coverage? Do you have the right amount? Are there any gaps? And so even once I obtain a new client, every year we're reviewing that to make sure, is this still accurate? Have you changed anything? Did you add anything that you forgot to tell me? Because I'm probably not first on your list to remember when you add a deck to your backyard or update your kitchen or buy a boat. Sometimes people forget. You'd be surprised. They had a boat for the whole year and forgot to tell me that they needed it insured. And it's a $40,000 boat, $50,000 boat, more than their car sometimes. So those are the benefits of having a review.
Good. And
price is important, but also making sure that you're appropriately covered.
So you've been doing it a long time. You've got the experience and the satisfied customer base, and somebody that's not looked at it for a couple of years for sure. Even if they're happy with their current situation, it can't hurt to have. And that communication happens pretty seamlessly nowadays. We don't have the ability to sit down, so you can do it via phone, you can do it via video, etc., text.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as we wrap it up here, when folks are looking for you, first off, tell us where you're located. Where's the office, the physical office?
Yeah, so I'm in the Northwest Wellness Center building with Family Chiropractic, right on the town center loop. So I'm right by Starbucks, McDonald's, right across from where Dutch Brothers is going to be. So that'll be fun.
There we go.
See how that affects traffic getting to my office.
Yep. So another great members there in Northwest, and Dr. Dumling's been there a long time. It's a great building, but we've got Kyle Bunch at goosehead.com and the phone number. And you're there to answer questions, say what ifs, provide an insurance review, provide a quote, right?
Yeah, and just a reminder to everyone that there's no obligation, that there's not a cost to have your insurance reviewed. So definitely get in touch if you haven't had it reviewed in a while and want to have it looked at, and have a bunch of different carriers, no pun intended, involved in that shopping experience.
Bunch? Oh, no pun. But it's a good pun. Any pun is a good pun. So,
the dad jokes are rolling these days.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you stopping in today. Wilsonville, Kyle Bunch, Goosehead Insurance. Check it out.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.